Welcome back, Sebastian here. So what an exciting race that was. So I think going into the race, I think there was quite a bit of concern about whether or not the racing would actually be decent. But it turns out you can have decent racing around a street course. So I started with Leclerc on pole, Verstappen second. There was concern leading in up to the start of the race about tire graining. When we eventually got going to the start, most drivers were on the mediums. Hamilton, Piastri, Zhou were on the hards, and Stroll and Tsunoda were on the soft tires. So good start by Verstappen. He goes very aggressive into turn one, kind of shoves both himself and Leclerc off the track, and that was under investigation right away. Alonso, really very mistake from him. He basically just spins on his own, tires too cold, asking for a bit too much purchase from the tires, just kind of spins going into turn one. Makes contact with Bottas, basically the two, Alonso basically did a 180 and then kind of collided with Bottas, fairly low speed, not a big crash or anything, but both of them had front wing damage. Perez then went into the back of Bottas, and Sainz also picked up front wing damage somehow there. Stroll starting on the soft tires, looking like a really inspired choice, was up to 9th place from 19th on the grid, so amazing start by him. So we get a virtual safety car. Perez, Alonso, Bottas all pit for a new front wings that they all damaged at that first corner melee. So lap 3, virtual safety cars ends, and Norris has a really bizarre spin. Basically it looks like he kind of had a snap of oversteer going through turn 11, and he basically loses control of the car, hits the wall at pretty high speed, wrecks the car, wrecks the rear wing, front wing, and kind of slides down the track and kind of comes to a stop at the barrier in the escape road at turn 12. So a bit of a scary crash for him. He says he's okay, gets out of the car. He apparently went to the medical center and the hospital for precautionary checks, but hopefully he's alright. As for the cause of the crash, we don't really know yet. Could have been a mechanical failure, otherwise it would have been a really rare mistake by Norris. So that brings the safety car out, and Stroll and Sainz pit for the hard tires. So Stroll's pit starting on that soft tire. Those tires would basically had very little track, lap tire life. So really beneficial for Stroll. He pits for the hard tires, and Sainz does too. So lap 7, the safety car ends, and Verstappen it was announced that Verstappen was given a 5-second penalty for his clever maneuver at turn 1. And despite the fact that GP had been coming on the radio saying, oh, there's no issue, it won't be a problem, they're not asking you to switch position or anything like that. So a bit of a surprise there to get that penalty. But in typical Max fashion, very calm, comes on the radio as he says, send them my best regards. So he doesn't really seem to care about the penalty anyway. So on to lap 8, and the Haas's doing their bi-weekly tradition of falling down the field, being overtaken by pretty much any car near them. Perez was up to 12th though, a really good recovery for him after overtaking Hülkenberg, Stroll, and Ricciardo. Lap 14, Leclerc staying very close with Verstappen. Tire wear doesn't seem to be a massive issue for Leclerc, as he's able to match Verstappen's lap times. Sargent was another driver falling down the field, being overtaken by quite a few cars over those few laps. Lap 16, Leclerc actually overtakes Verstappen for the lead of the race at turn 14 at the end of the strip. And Verstappen comes on the radio saying his tires are done, and he pits for hard tires right away. And of course, having to serve that 5-second penalty, and also pitting a bit earlier than he would have expected or he would have wanted. So it means that he does end up behind in a little bit of traffic when he comes out. Right immediately after, Hamilton and Piastri have contact, kind of going through the final chicane at the exit of turn 14. Piastri basically tries to squeeze around the outside, a bit of contact with the front left of Piastri and rear right tire of Hamilton. There was no further investigation after that, or there was investigation after that, but no further action, so neither party was seen as to blame for that. But Piastri basically realizes he has a puncture, pits right away, slow stop 4.4 seconds, but Hamilton either not realizing he has a puncture or deciding that or kind of just deciding not to pit, goes for another lap and drops quite a few positions. So that hurt Hamilton quite a lot in the end there, going that extra lap with that puncture. So Verstappen with his 5-second penalty ends up behind Gasly and Russell, and then lap 21, Leclerc pits and comes in ahead of both of them. and I think at this point Perez was in the lead of the race, I believe. Lap 24, contact between Russell and Verstappen. Verstappen, having passed Gasly already, goes for a really opportunistic move at turn 12, and Russell basically tries to close the door when Verstappen's car was kind of still there. And yeah, so that was under investigation. I think we got a safety car because of that, and Verstappen ends up with front wing damage. So all in all, Verstappen having a very action-filled race so far. So, Perez, Verstappen, Stroll, Russell, Sainz all pit for new tires. Stroll again benefiting from pitting under a safety car. And then after the safety car, we end up with Leclerc first, Perez second, Gasly third. And I think Verstappen was a little bit further down the road. I think P5 or P6, I believe. So Perez benefits massively from that safety car, pits from the lead and drops down to second, but on much fresher tires than Leclerc. Verstappen was under investigation, and Russell was eventually given a 5-second penalty. Lap 32, Perez, on those fresher tires, overtakes Leclerc for P1 at the end of the strip. Verstappen overtakes Gasly lap 31, and then overtakes Piastri lap 35. So now he's in the back in the podium positions. Lap 35, Leclerc re-overtakes Perez at the end of the strip to retake the lead. So a bit of a surprise there to see the Ferrari overtaking the Red Bull. But at the same time, Stroll was overtaking Albon, making good use of those fresher tires, and is up to P7. So secretly having a really good race, but then again, benefited massively from the two safety cars. Lap 36, Verstappen overtakes Perez at turn 14. Lap 37, and Verstappen's on a charge, setting really good lap times on his new hard tires and charging towards Leclerc. And he overtakes Leclerc at turn 14, under braking at the end of the strip. So really good move there for Verstappen. At one point, after this contact with Russell, there was even questions, would he even be able to end up on the podium? Would he be able to win the race? But, Verstappen makes everything look easy, and he's back in the lead of the race on lap 37. Lap 39, Albon creating a train behind him, the Albon train, and however, he is overtaken by Sainz, Alonso, and Hamilton in short order. So his tires basically completely shot, and I think a really unfortunate race for Williams, one that had a lot of promise at the start. Lap 41, Stroll overtakes Gasly up to P6. Lap 43, Leclerc makes a mistake at turn 12, locks up going into the corner, and is overtaken by Perez. So a small mistake there by Leclerc allows Perez to basically inherit P2. Lap 44, Piastri pits with only 7 laps to go. Really unusual from him, and it seems like maybe he has a slow puncture. So really unfortunate if that's the case. He was having a really good race. Lap 47, Hamilton overtakes Alonso for P8 down the strip, and Hülkenberg retires at the end of the escape road at turn 14 with some kind of mechanical problem. And Snyder decides to follow suit the following lap with a gearbox issue. Lap 48, 2 or 3 laps to go. Russell overtakes Stroll for P5, but remember, Russell's carrying that 5-second penalty. Piastri overtakes Gasly for P10, able to get himself back into the points after that pit stop. We get to the final lap. Down the main straight, Verstappen was asked by GP to kind of fall back a bit to try to give Perez a tow. He goes from about 3 seconds to about 2 seconds back, about enough to give him a tow. But still, Leclerc somehow makes the overtake happen, overtakes Perez under braking at turn 14, and is up to P2. So really well fought P2 for Leclerc. Verstappen takes a checkered flag to win the inaugural Vegas Grand Prix. So really exciting race. And I think the last thing I'll say before I go to the results in the championship is that basically the 3 drivers on the podium, Verstappen, Leclerc, and Perez, they were then shoved into a limo and driven all the way to the Bellagio Fountains, which is like halfway down the strip. That took about 5 minutes. They then had to get out of the car, go up to this podium that they'd made for interviews with David Coulthard. And then after the interviews, they then had to go back in the car down to the podium where they got into boxes from the opening ceremony. So yeah, just took way too long. Usually when I do these notes, it takes me until like 10 minutes after the podium's done to be finished. And this time I was actually finished before we even got to the podium. So that took way too long, but ritzy and very Vegas. So Result in championship order. So, Verstappen wins the Grand Prix. Leclerc second, Perez third, rounding out the podium. Really good recovery for him after, pitting on the opening lap. Fourth, Ocon, excellent result from him. Kind of came out of nowhere, but had excellent race pace and was quite a bit faster than his teammate in the race. Fifth for Stroll, really good result, but then again, really benefited from some of the safety cars, but then again, I think I'm saying then again too much. But, kept it clean, kept it out of trouble, and really gets another solid 10 points. Sainz 6, a good recovery from him. Of course, would have been hoping for more after qualifying, but then again, kind of got hit with that 10-point grid penalty because of the water valve. 7th, Hamilton, good recovery. 8th, Russell, a bit disappointed there. Alonso 9th, 10th, Piastri, getting fastest lap point as well. 11th, Gasly, 12th, Albon, 13th, Magnussen, 14th, Ricciardo, 15th, Zhou, 16th, Sargent, 17th, Bottas, and your 3 retirements were Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, and Norris. So, in the championship, Verstappen extends his lead, 549 points. Absolutely massive amount. Perez second, 273, and that I think now seals second in the championship, and Hamilton cannot get past him. So Hamilton 232, fourth Sainz 200, fifth Alonso on 200. So the 2 Spanish drivers equal on points going to the final race. That's definitely going to be a storyline for that race. 6th, Norris drops down to 6th from, I think he was 4th after last race, 195 points for him. 7th, Leclerc 188, 8th, Russell 160, 9th, Piastri 89, 10th, Stroll 73, 11th, Gasly 62, and 12th, Ocon 58. 13th, Albon 29, 14th, Tsunoda 13, 15th, Bottas 10, 16th, Hülkenberg 9, 17th, Ricciardo 6, 18th, Zhou was 6, 19th, Magnussen with 3, Lawson still in 20th with 2 points, Sargent in 21st with 1 point, and then Nick DeVries with no points. So I've actually written the Constructors' Championship on here. Going into the final races, we do have a couple battles to watch. So of course, Red Bull first with 122 points, no one's catching them. Second, Mercedes 392, Ferrari 388. So only 4 points separating Mercedes and Ferrari going into Abu Dhabi. Sorry, my voice is quite shot today, so sorry about that. I was hoping to get to the whole video, but there we go. 4th, McLaren 284, Aston Martin 5th 273, 11 points between them. It would take a massive result for Aston Martin and a pretty big disaster for McLaren for that to be changed going into the final race. 6th, Alpine, they're kind of at no man's land, they're not going anywhere, 120 points. 7th, Williams 28, 8th, AlphaTauri 21. I think they were really hoping for some points today, but unfortunately not for them. But 7 points is quite a big result for those lower teams, so I doubt AlphaTauri can get them in the final race. 9th, Alfa Romeo, 16 points, and of course Haas rounding out the Constructors' Championship, 12 points in 10th. So, lastly, big 3 talking points. I think first, decent racing. I think the racing was quite a bit better than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting something like Azerbaijan or Monza, where even though you have those long straights, the DRS not being as powerful means that overtaking is quite difficult. That wasn't really the case. We did have some really good racing, a lot of good action down the strip, and being able to stay close the next lap and then overtake, as we saw with Leclerc and Perez, shows that there is a decent chance for fighting and not just pass and then pull off, go down the road. Second, I think strategy, chaos. The 2 safety cars and the virtual safety car mix things up a lot, so it's definitely not a standard strategy. Really benefited some drivers like Stroll and Perez, and some drivers like, I'm not even sure who, but I'd say Albon probably lost out quite a bit with that, with those safety cars and the extra stops. But, that's kind of the fun of Formula 1, having that extra chaos and that uncertainty. Number 3, let's see, number 3, final thing. Okay, I'm gonna go with recovery drives. So quite a few drivers with really good recovery drives today. Perez, of course, damage on the first lap. Let's see, Sainz, of course, pitting on the first lap. Hamilton, pit stop in the puncture. Had to come back from near the bottom, and Alonso as well pitting on the first lap. So a lot of really good recovery drives. And something that we don't usually see so many in a single race. So many drivers basically pit on the opening lap and come all the way back up into the points, which really shows that there's good racing and you can overtake. So that's all for my review of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Pretty good race, but a bit better than I was expecting. And I'll be back maybe later this evening with my power rankings. So thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.